It's your favorite redhead CreoleLex, and I am back with another one. Okay, so before we get into this video, you already know what's about to come out my mouth. You need to subscribe to your girl. And when you watch the video all the way through, you need to like and comment, say hey to your girl, okay? Alright, so I put up a poll up on Instagram, and it was either a story time or a mukbang with a topic, and the story time won. So one of the things that I really want to really touch on, and it's something I kind of been wanting to talk about for the longest, is how I overcame my heartbreak, which is something that I dealt with for like 3 years, and I overcame it in 2018, and you know, it's 2019 now, so you know, I've been good for a year, and now we're going into this is a new year, but I feel like I've been wanting to tell this story, but I wasn't ready, and I feel like I wasn't fully healed, but I'm healed, and I'm ready to share my story. So let's get into it. So 2012, I was in college at the University of West Georgia, and my roommate at the time, like, that was my girl. Like, we was like sisters, we was inseparable, you know what I'm saying? When you saw me, you saw her. When you saw her, you saw me. And the only time we weren't together is because we was in class. So she had this friend or whatever that she would talk to, and he was like her brother. And one night she gave the phone to me, and we started talking, like we introduced ourselves or whatever, and we started talking, and I even sung for him or whatever the case may have been at the time. And from there, we just started talking a lot. Like, she would be on the phone talking to him, and then once we get the phone, we get on the phone, we just was talking, like, and she'd be like, look, y'all can exchange numbers. Excuse me. Y'all can exchange numbers, you know. So we exchanged numbers, and from there, like, we just really hit it off. Like, we started talking a lot. So at the time, he was between Florida and Georgia, and he ended up moving to Georgia, like, I don't know how long it was around the time or whatever, but he moved back to Georgia a little shortly after we had like hung out a couple of times or whatever. And I hung out with him through her, like, when I would, like, sometimes on the weekends, instead of going home, I would go to her house, and she would go hang with him and some of his family members and stuff or whatever. So like, when I first met him, like, it was like we knew each other for years, and we just was like this, and ever since then, like, we was really cool. Like, it was just like something different, like something I never experienced before. And I've never been in I've been in a serious relationship before, but it was just something different. And it was like, well, I'm gonna say this, mentally, I've never been in a serious relationship until him, because I was in a relationship before, but I was still mentally a little girl, and I wasn't ready, and our relationship with that person was moving too fast. Okay, so anyways, back on track. So once he moved back or whatever, we started getting really close, and we started going on a couple dates and stuff. Like, he asked me, you know, like, when you gonna let me take you on a date or stuff like that, like, when you gonna let me take you out. And you know, we went on a couple of dates, and through that, like, as time progressed, we just really just started connecting even more. Like, it got to the point where he literally became my best friend, and it's like we were like best friends for about a year or two before we actually got into a relationship. And from there, we were together for a year. And then I believe 2014, I think 2014, I mean, at this point, everything's, well, not everything, but some things are kind of like a blur. Like, they, like, the memories starting to fade from that era or that time in my life. Things are starting to fade or whatever, but, so I think it's around, it was 2014. I know it was a month, it was literally a month after my birthday. My birthday's August 6th, and I had a dinner September 6th because for some reason that year, stuff just kept going wrong in that month of my birthday or whatever. So literally a month later, I had a dinner and he proposed to me. We were already together for a year, and he proposed to me, and of course I said yes, because I was in love with him at that time, and I was just like, I'm ready, like, let's do this, like, let's do this, sweethearts, like, let's be a family, let's get married, like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, let's do this. So of course I said yes, and it was around my friends and my mother and my aunt, well, our friends, because we have mutual friends, and my mother and my aunt. And from there, it's like after the fact, things kind of started going downhill. But at the time, you just thinking, of course, when good things come, there's going to be things that try to be a distraction and throw it off or whatever. But we in this, we not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. You not going nowhere. We in this together, and we're gonna get through this, because we're Christians. We're Christians, and we believe in God, and we knew and felt the things that God was doing in our life, and we were not listening to what other people was saying, because of course once we got engaged, everybody had so much to say. They had all these opinions, and some of it hurt because it was from people I was close to and people he was close to, but at the same time, we was like, look, it's me and you. Even if it's gotta be me and you alone, it's gonna be me and you. And I was like, well, let's go. And like when you really in love with somebody, there be signs there, but you don't catch it until after the fact. Like, dang, I did not see this coming. So 6 months in our engagement, I would never forget this, because this was a bittersweet day. Bittersweet because the day he broke up with me, it was through a text message, first foremost. And then secondly, it was the same day I've gotten my very first car. So I'm getting my car on this day, but at the same time, my heart is getting broken in my phone, through the phone. And it's like, I tried to enjoy, I couldn't even enjoy getting my first car. And it was just like, from that point on, it was like, I was hurting. I started hurting, and because I did not see this breakup coming. And it was some things that I'm not going to speak on, because I think it's really too personal to really speak on it. Like I said, I'm not here to bash him or anything, but it was some things that he was not communicating with me on, of how he felt about certain things that were going on at the time. And he allowed those things to eat at his mind, and he decided he was just going to end our relationship. And he never talked to me about it. And I felt those things were very fixable, but I guess I wasn't enough for him, because I'm not going to say I'm not enough, because I am enough, but I guess I wasn't enough for him. So he ended our relationship, and he didn't care to look back or even try to fix it. So moving on. So after that, not long after, we were broken up. Um, by this time, well, when we broke up, we were still communicating, and I mean, he was still telling me he loved me, and making it seem like maybe there's a little hope there. But eventually, I would come across some news that will really hurt me. We were still seeing each other, and by this time, I moved out of my mom's house, and I'm in my apartment with my best friend. And I was getting my hair done one day, and she texted me, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm okay? Like, I'm at the hair salon, I'm getting dolled up. Like, what you talking about?" And she told me that Michael was engaged, and I was like, "What?" So I'm texting Michael like, "You're engaged," and just like really trying to get an understanding, like, where is this coming from? Because you and I were just hanging out together, even though we're broken up. We were still spending time. You were still making me seem like this relationship could get fixed or something. And he pretty much told me that I was irrelevant, and that our situation was irrelevant, and that pretty much his engagement and whatever he was doing at that time, that was relevant, and everything else that involved me wasn't. And boom, bow, bam, it was over. And that really hurt me. It really, really hurt me. It hurt me to my core. And so eventually Michael would go on, and he would get married. And I think 6 months later, well, not 6 months later, but the next following year, and this is 2017, right? I think, but right in December or January. Like I said, it's kind of like a blur at this point. I've had other things going on since then. So, between 2017. Oh, excuse me. Oh, just got these little burps going on. But like the ending of 2016 going to 2017 or whatever. Like I said, I'm in a church or whatever. We met in a church. Like, we got really, really close to being in a church. And he plays an instrument. So, and I sing. So he came to a rehearsal, and he asked, could he talk to me or whatever. And by this time, he's a married man. So I'm thinking to myself, like, no, you can't talk to me because you're a married man. Like, I don't fool with married men. Like, whatever you trying to do, sir, like, no, sir, we can't. So, no. But I kind of needed some closure to even figure out if I just needed to fully move on. But of course, I needed to move on. He was married. So, we go outside of my church, and he apologizes to me or whatever about how he treated me and all that other stuff, how he did things, how, I guess he went about things with, pretty much just dipping out on me and then disappearing and going to get married or whatever, or getting engaged and getting married or whatever. And, I was like, that's cool, I forgave you, whatever. But from there, we departed from each other, and there's a part of me, because I feel like personally, it was a very short time from the time we broke up to the time that he went and got engaged to somebody else and got married to that person. So I'm still in love with him, but at the same time, I'm angry. So I have all these mixed emotions going on. So what happened was, I wrote him a letter. I took it to high school, middle school, high school, whatever you want to call it. I wrote him a letter just telling how I felt, how I was very hurt or whatever, but I was still in love with him and stuff like that. And then I found out through a source that him and his wife were no longer together. And then he kind of confirmed it, because we actually ended up going to see him, because we actually was talking in person about the situation with our breakup. We actually talked in person or whatever, and that's when he confirmed that they were no longer together, and they were getting ready to, going through the divorce process or whatever. And so me being so in love, just, end up going right back into his little web, And from there, it was like we were inseparable again, and we were always spending time together. And it was a time that I even got into a very bad car wreck, and he was there for me through the whole thing. Like, I spent so much time with him. It was like we were together all over again. But I allowed myself to become a revolving door, and he was starting to come in and out of my life. One minute it was like he was feeding me what I'm gonna say lies. He was feeding me lies, making it seem like we had a very, very chance, because still, especially finding out, me, I believe God. I believe in God. I'm a true believer of Jesus Christ, and I'm thinking, like, oh, his divorce is about to happen for a reason. Is happening for a reason. Is because we were really meant to be together, or whatever. And I'm like, here I go again, putting the boxing gloves on, ready to fight for this relationship again. And of course, just like the first time, I was fighting alone. And so it started becoming a revolving door, and it started to cause more hurt, more pain, depression, insecurity, feeling like I'm not good enough, that maybe, something is wrong with me physically, I don't know. Like, I think it's just something is wrong with me, and don't nobody want me, or he doesn't want me, he doesn't love me. And I started putting myself in this dark place. And I even opened myself up to situations that could have got dangerous, or put me in a situation where I could be sitting here right now in regret. And I'm just like, but at the same time, at the time, I'm not thinking of none of this. I'm just thinking that I really love this man, and I really want to be with him. But yet this man really does not love me. At least he doesn't love me anymore. And he just wanted to keep me around until he was fully healed from his situation and was able to move on into the next. And when I guess he fully recovered, or felt like he recovered, it became a cycle. And he, threw me to the garbage or whatever, and he went and got him another one. And by this time, this situation happened. The other situation happened between, like, going into 2018. I started feeling different about him, because a lot was going on. And I started seeing him differently. So it's like I started falling out of love with him. I started really, like, looking into the mirror, and like really just like really, I guess, becoming a woman for real, and really realizing my worth, and realizing that I am enough, and I am a blessing, and any man that has me will be blessed to have me. And I am the catch, and I am very rare, in that if a person show me that they don't want me or don't want to be with me, then so be it. God has somebody designed just for me, and maybe he just not it. So I really, like, for 3 years, like, it was like just an in and out situation, like a back and forth situation. And through all of that, I really was in a dark place, because not only I was dealing with that, but I was dealing with my own issues, like stuff that was just going on in my life, trying to get myself together personally. But at the same time, it was like was fighting for something that, like, this person is showing you that they don't want to be with you. They don't want to, that, pretty much I felt used. Like, I was just, you sucked me in and used me for the moment. And then when you were done with me, when you got what you wanted or needed out of it, you just threw me away. And and I'm gonna say this because I don't feel this way now. I felt that way then, but I felt like trash. When we have something and we use it up, whatever, once we're done with it, where it goes to the trash, and I feel like trash. And I'm like, well, I'm not trash. I'm a queen. I am beautiful. I am a loving person. I love with everything in me, and he didn't appreciate that. And there is someone that God has for me that is going to appreciate that. So when I really came to the realization of really my true being, my true self-worth, and truly started loving myself, I removed myself. And ever since then, I've been single. I've been single for 4 years now, but try to date, but I'm just like, at this point, I'm just focused on just building my brand, building me as a person, getting more and more closer and in tune with God, and just really just becoming the young woman, the young queen that God has destined for me to be, who He's created me to be, and not letting anything distract me from that. So, I just want to tell this story to encourage a young woman out there who may have come into that experience that I experienced, and or someone who just dealt with it and is trying to get out of that dark place. That if you come across this video, you are enough. You are worthy of love. You deserve love. You deserve to be loved. And there's somebody who loves you and that will love every part of you and will not try to change anything about you. They will accept you for who you are, and they will love you for you. And God has that person for you, and you just have to pray and wait on God for Him to send that man to you. But until then, continue to love yourself, build yourself, so that when He sends you that man, you will be ready. In order for you to have in order for you to have the husband you desire, you have to become the wife. You have, instead of praying for God, can you send me a man? Like, no, God, can you prepare me to be the wife that I need to be for my husband? And that's my prayer. Lord, continue to mold me so when my husband comes, I will be ready. So I encourage you, if you come across this video and you're going through what I went through, the story that I just shared, I just want you to know that you are beautiful, you are enough, and in due time, you're going to meet your king, and He's going to treat you like the queen that you are. So make sure you subscribe, and when you watch the video all the way through, I'm hoping by the time you get to this part, you already watched it all the way through. If you got to this part, just go ahead and like and comment, share the stories with me. You can share, I know we're strangers, but by the time you get to this video, you should already know me a little bit. Come talk to me. If you need any encouragement or just someone to listen, hit me up on my social media or comment down below and talk to me. I'll talk back. But I love you guys so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything. Just thank you for everything. But this was actually, I'm in a really, really good place to tell this story now, and I've been wanting to tell it for so long, but I just wasn't ready. My heart wasn't ready. I've had built up anger for so long towards this person, but I'm finally at a place, like, if I see this person again, I could probably be like, "What's up? What's up, bro?" But at this point, this is the end of the video. You know what you gotta do. Hit me up. So you are somebody, and you will do great things. You sure will, because this is a great season, and it's gonna be an amazing year. So you are somebody. Once again, you are somebody, and you will do great things. So let's be great together. I love you guys so much. Bye, guys.